Good morning, motherfuckers. How you doing, Omaha? Is everybody good? Yeah. Fuck yeah, man. Fuck yeah. You know what? Let's just take a moment. I want to acknowledge my man Dusty and Jeff. Congratulations for 5 years. Let's give these guys some props. What they've done with this venue. I've been to many of these sorts of things, and these guys have created a really special environment, and just really warm. And you know, 5 years is a big deal, big milestone. Congrats, good work. So I want to talk to you guys a little bit about my backstory, but I don't want to overdo it because I think, you know, I was here a few years ago and I shared quite a bit of that. And actually, from that, it became the foundation for materials for a book that I have coming out in September. Be self-promotional whore for a second. But I started building my business, you know, with my hands. Painting t-shirts, airbrushing, coming up with graffiti culture. Used to paint denim jeans, jackets, you know, the whole hand to, the whole actually physical touching of my business and kind of being connected in that way really informs who I am as a creator, as an entrepreneur. Some folks don't know, I was also into drugs for a minute. I still am, no, mostly. I went to Rutgers College of Pharmacy. And this is actually a painting I did, an airbrush painting that they hung at the pharmacy school just before I left pharmacy school to drop out from pharmacy school. Because pharmacy was clearly not my thing. I realized I'd be able to do something above average with design and art. That's what I connected to it since I was a kid. And pharmacy wasn't really cutting it. And I kind of sometimes get depressed about not really completing my whole academic experience, but I opted into entrepreneurship instead. You know, entrepreneurship, and you know, I've said this before, is kind of a shit word, right? I'm not really a fan of the word. I think the spirit, the intent of the word is good, and to be somewhat, you know, academic here, I'm into words and etymology. When you think about the root of entrepreneur, first of all, it's French. The word, no offense to anyone that's French. Food's great. The word sucks. But it means one who undertakes, right? I don't want to be an undertaker. I'm not an undertaker. I opt and connect to the notion of artist, right? And I think a lot of people, they don't give themselves that benefit of the doubt of connecting to that notion. They kind of left that with the crayons back in kindergarten, right? But when you study the notion of artist, and you know, from the early 13th century word, this kind of notion of skill as a result of learning or practice, this the root R is to fit together, to join. It's kind of a cool concept, kind of deep, right? You're not thinking about oil on canvas, right? Like that means something maybe that more folks could connect to. And so, like I said, you know, I have a book coming out, and the date explicitly, just to double down on being a self-promotional whore, is September 17th, 2013. This is exciting for me. And actually, you know, the speech I gave a couple years ago, that authenticity speech, it is the core of the book. But here's the cover of the book. It's called Illuminati for Dummies, a complete guide to how shit really works, and I have a special whole chapter about Beyonce's hand signals. I don't think this is an infringement issue, right? Right? I mean, seriously, there's the cover. It's called Unlabeled, Selling You Without Selling Out. It's coming out via Touchstone, which is a division of Simon & Schuster. I'm really kind of nervous as fuck about it. Don't know anything about that industry. So what I figure I'd do today is take you guys to school a little bit, maybe take the spirit of the book, which I tell my kids. They say, "What are you doing, Daddy?" I say, "I'm writing the textbook that I wish I could have bought." So I want to share some of my thinking with you, and been thinking about, well, what's the syllabus for Big Omaha 2013. What can I give you that can't be gotten at Harvard, right? That's really what I'm aiming for here. I mean, these speeches, these are hard to try to encapsulate a lot of shit in a meaningful amount of, that you could take away in 29 minutes, right? Not easy. You know, Harvard's logo is Veritas on their crest. It's the goddess of truth. There she is, beautiful in all her glory. You know, guys, I'm not feeling the setup here. Can we do something about this environment? Something's not really right. I want this to be more academic. Can you give me a hand? Do you mind? Get this shit out of here, please. I'm looking for something. I'm going to create an atmosphere here for you guys. I'm going to take you guys to school, all right? We're going to go to Unlabeled University right now. But I need to be in my, let me get a little bit more right. See, I didn't just dress in a cardigan for nothing. Button this shit up, I want to look real professorial. Got my brogues on. All right, taking their time. Spare with them. Very nice of you. Better. Thank you. I appreciate that. That's the spirit. That's the spirit. All right, thank you, gents. Thank you very much. That is very kind of you. It's okay, because you know what's in there? My glasses. I need glasses. Oh, yes. Oh, thank you. Something for the morning. Little whiskey, that'll do. To Big Omaha. Cheers. Not supposed to drink in class, but I did. Shout out to Warby Parker, but these are Marc Ecko glasses. Sorry, Neil. And I don't put prescription in them like you. No kidding. There we go. That's better. Unlabeled University. Are we ready, folks? Yeah. So today's curriculum, what I'd like to do is I'd like to talk about philosophy. Philosophy, Aristotle. Aristotle, you know, is kind of the father of deductive reasoning, right? This idea of top-down logic. You take a general statement to reach a certain conclusion. You know, I am a man, I am Aristotle, all that shit, right? But I think we need to draw on a philosopher of our time that's more relevant. Something that if we're going to try to take the 27 minutes that are left here, give you something tangible. What can I give you that you won't get in 4 years, or maybe you will, but not as precisely, as undiluted as the philosopher I'm about to share with you, who I think could encapsulate all that you need to know to be a great entrepreneur. That philosopher, let's see, I went backwards, sorry. Already the scotch is getting in the blood. There he is. Christopher Wallace. Okay, the volume up, please. We're gonna need the volume up higher. There's the 10 Crack Commandments. What we're gonna do today, we are going to listen to the lyrics of the 10 Crack Commandments. It's a song from the 1997 album, Biggie's second album, called the 10 Crack Commandments. And I, Dr. Marc Ecko, yeah, I did drop out of Rutgers College of Pharmacy. But they gave me a fucking degree in the end when I gave a speech, you know, so I'll tell you, I'm going to use that doctor shit. I'm going to use that PhD, the doctor, okay? All right, it's a doctor of humane letters, all right? I mean, Bill Cosby uses this shit too, you know? Anyways. So I'm going to use that, let's see, and we're going to get into this. So 10 Crack Commandments. My 10 prescriptions that I'm going to deduce from the lyrics. Are we ready? Yeah. Okay. Is the audio on this good? Because I want the folks to be able to hear this. This is important. Okay, let's go. Let's get into it. Rule number uno, never let no one know how much dough you hold. Cause you know that try to breed jealousy, especially if that man fucked up. Get your ass. All right, what's he talking about here? Number one, never let them know how much dough you hold. Now, the obvious notion of the dough is the jealousy that it will breed, right? All right? But we're not talking about the Mickey Mouse shit of money. Right? That's the obvious notion here, okay? What Biggie, I believe, is inferring to here in a bigger concept, no pun intended, is the notion that we in life will use metrics to comply with everything. We will count everything. You know, we want to measure finite, our money, our grades, our wins, our losses, our followers, our likes, how many fucks we give. Guys, quit fucking counting, okay? That's when he talks about this, why is it important to quit counting? Because this notion of jealousy, right? But yet we're taught in school that math is designed to give a construct that helps us get to finite notions in a kind of less abstract way without it. So x plus y equals z, right? But that's bullshit, really. We know this, okay? So even in nature, I would contend that you can't find a straight line in nature. Go out into the woods, try to find one in your body. It doesn't exist. Despite our ability to make them and machine them and manufacture straight lines, they don't exist naturally, okay? So why do we try to design everything around that, right? So stop seeking validation that can only be found in finite numbers, all right? Otherwise you end up like this douchebag. I'm into gold, but he wanted to, but you know, the jealousy and envy thing here, the guy's a douche. You're gonna end up like him. All right, let's pay attention. Number two.
Number two, never let them know your next move. Don't you know bad boys move in silence and violence? Take it from your highness. I just squeeze mad clips at these cats for they bricks and shit.
Now, move in silence or violence. Now, look, Big is talking about the 10 crack commandments. I'm trying to deduce something here relative to a broader concept, broader notion of entrepreneurship, business, the hustle generally. And what does he mean, move in silence and violence, right? That sounds kind of negative, right? Well, I think the silence thing is obvious, right? But it is a rare commodity, unfortunately, today, right? In our world where, you know, we're vomiting like everything, like our first idea, into this vomitorium of social media, we often lose sight of the precious commodity that is silence, all right? And listen and silence are spelled with the same letters, so my daughter reminds me of that. Create a predictableness that's not healthy in business if you're not silent. And the violence idea, right? The violence notion is deeper than, okay, there's a metaphor there. We're not talking about like hurting someone necessarily. We think of the violence, I connect to it in the way of like a Winston Wolfe from Pulp Fiction, you know, the guy who just got it done. He executed. And again, words matter, right? We look at the old French root of the word executor. It means to carry into effect, to get shit done. So silence and violence, right? Don't broadcast your shit too loud, don't be predictable, and focus on executing. Okay, guys, you're not data, despite the fact that we've kind of been conditioned to think that it's just okay to talk and talk and talk. Or just know you're creating value for others, right? We are being harvested. And I don't want to, you know, sound suspicious about any of that stuff. I mean, I you know, use social media, and I think it's changed the dynamism of the world and business and industry. It's a very exciting thing. But don't sleep on where the value creation is being captured. All right? And you might want to opt into this other app that has been around for a long time. It's not Facebook. It's actually this app that's called fucking Discretion. Okay? It's been around since the 1300s. All right. Next.
Number three, never trust nobody. Your mom set that ass up properly gassed up.
Putting the mask up, shit for that. She be laying in the bushes to light that ass up. Never trust nobody. That's kind of sad, right? What Big is talking about, he's not kidding around. He's trying to make a point here. Like, not even your mom in business, okay? Like, trust, again, words matter. Right? We have to understand when trust breaks down in business, there's the obvious notions of what could happen, the paranoia that ensues, and over your trade secrets, the things that you're looking to protect in business, right? And from the German Trost, the root, the definition means comfort. So comfort is the issue here at hand that the notorious B.I.G. wants us to reflect on. And in business, no offense, if you're looking for comfort, get the fuck out of here with that, right? You get your comfort at night on your pillow at midnight to about 6:30 a.m. For me, around 6:20, okay? That's when you get your comfort. In business, there is no comfort zone, right? And if you create too much of a comfort zone, you will inadvertently create an ivory tower in your own mind. This is how institutions are formed, on the basis of comfort. They just feel that they can build and build and build. But you can individually create your own ivory tower if you're not careful. This is important, folks. You think I'm kidding. They ain't teaching this shit at Harvard. There's the obvious get high, the cocaína, right? This is what, that lyric comes from, what's the movie with Al Pacino? It's escaping me. Scarface, right? Right? Scarface, never get high on your own supply, man. Right? And the big fucking in front of the table with the powder, right? But that's the obvious. It's not literally the effects of the high or the Mickey Mouse shit of money. What I think Big is talking about is the notion of hubris. Getting high on your own hubris, losing sight of your humility because of your success. Right? That is a powerful white substance, a dust that you don't want to get high on. Right? When we think of Jabba the Hutt, we know what killed Jabba the Hutt, right? The chain. The chain killed Jabba the Hutt, right? The beautiful badass, Leia looked good as hell, went and choked the motherfucker out with the chain, right? No. It was his hubris that killed Jabba the Hutt. His hubris. Because his success had him treating it like shit, right? You don't get high on your own supply, right? Don't be deluded with grandeur. You end up like this dickhead. Fuck. Because we think culturally fame is success, right? This is what we're taught. Fame is success. This is what we read about in the magazines. It'd be the business magazines, the cultural magazines. Fame is bullshit. It is not.
Number 5, never sell no crack when you rest that. I don't care if they want to down it from the fountain.
Never sell no crack where you rest at. Okay, so we know what this one is. You guys probably are starting to get the theme here, right? That looks good, doesn't it? That looks fucking good. Medium, or it's a rare, right? It's like a rare cut. Then why the fuck would you eat it there? All right? You don't eat where you shit. Okay? Your home, don't do business don't sell crack where you rest at. Don't conduct business in the places that are precious your home. Because these are the zones, and as a father with a beautiful wife and 3 beautiful kids, I do not take that notion lightly. Right? It is a precious zone. It is the one area where it is safe with the pillow. Okay? Preserve that. Very, very important.
Number 6, that goddamn credit, get it. You think the crack can't pay me back? Forget it. 7.
Credit, debt it. You think a crackhead paying your back? Shit, forget it. Crackhead motherfuckers. Like this wimpy. I'll gladly pay you tomorrow for a hamburger today. Get the fuck at it. And not just money, your time, your resources, your energy. Okay? In business, be careful who you lend to. This is a very, very crucial notion, okay? Lending is you know, you even with good intentions, be very cautious. You're not obligated, all right? Be very, very careful. No one should fucking ride for free.
This rule is so underrated. Keep your family and business completely separated. Money and blood don't mix like two dicks and no bitch. Find yourself in serious shit. No.
That metaphor was kind of rough. I don't know if you followed that. That's why I love hip hop. I would never, but you know, like he's painting the picture. Keep your family and business completely separated or it's going to be a fucking shit show, right? Because business is rational, right? It's rational. Are we rational? Raise your hand if you believe you're a rational person, right? We know that you're all fucking, you know this is a setup. That's why you're not raising your hands. Because you know this shit's not rational. Because you motherfuckers aren't rational, you're emotional, okay? We're not rational. We have to act rational. We make math to make us X plus Y equals Z. That's what makes us rational. You guys sitting in straight rows here, instead of running around like fucking crazy. You know, thank you for not, but you gotta work at this. Some of you guys, I know there's that one dude in the back, he's tweeting shit, he doesn't want to fucking be here, right? Like, I'm kidding, I don't know if there is, but there probably. If you aren't careful and you don't keep your family and business completely separated, it could result in nepotism. And nepotism is not something that should be tolerated in the workplace as a manager, an owner, executive. It starts out really cute, right? So cute. Like, look at him. He could sing, he's wearing a suit, he's fucking cute. Until you find out you hired this asshole. Nepotism is dangerous shit. Steady. Never keep no weight on you. Them cats that hold your guns can sell guns. I got the lyric wrong. Yeah. They never keep no weight on you. Those cats that hold your guns could sell the jums too. Jums being jumbo crack cocaine in a vial. That's what he's talking about. That's the product that he's talking about, 10 Crack Commandments. It's his product, right? And the weight being the gun. What he's saying is do not micromanage. No, seriously, you're laughing. That's his business. Look, I hustle sweatshirts. Okay, like he's saying do not micromanage, right? Like we culturally, we celebrate, we bow at the altar of Steve Jobs, one of the greatest micromanagers of our time. We read about it, we're like, you know, steady on thinking that you're a fucking Steve Jobs, dog, okay? Steady on that, all right? All right, TPS reports. You know this scene? Don't be a fake ass Steve Jobs. Running around with time to fill out the TPS reports. You know that from the movie Office Space? Have you guys seen that movie? It's a great epic scene, right? We presume that if we're managing in that fashion, we're getting things done. That's not the way things get done. The cats that hold weight could sell jumps too, all right? Let's let him do his fucking thing, man. He's on the front line carrying like he's getting the shit done. Get the fuck out of his way. Stop micromanaging. Stop being a fake-ass Steve Jobs. I don't care how many fucking reflection filters you use or anvil effects. You fake Steve Jobs motherfucker.
Number 9 should have been number 1 for me. If you ain't getting back, stay the fuck with the police. If niggas think you're snitching, they ain't trying to listen.
They be sitting in your kitchen, waiting to start hitting. Well, this one's controversial. Now, this one is a tough one because it's like, oh shit, police, he's talking about the police. We know the police there to provide order for us, and you know, and there's the legacy. Listen to it again. So I think we got to really break this one down.
If you ain't getting back, stay the fuck with the police. If niggas think you're snitching, they ain't trying to listen.
Okay. you know, hip hop and unfortunately in inner cities, we've seen police brutality, but I think he's talking about something broader here that could be abstracted for business. Let's break down the word of this notion of police, yes, right? But there's this other notion that this is related to, which is this notion of politics just generally, right? And I think what Big is trying to say is, like, fuck the politics, all right? Like, and there's a reason here. Understand the logic of this, all right? And we think politics could be cute. You know, you watch the TV shows, you think it's funny. It's not fucking funny. The soap opera shit is not cool, okay? There's no room for that shit in business. And yet it exists. And I'm not here to disparage or, question, if it's the Koch brothers or George Soros. This shit just creeps me the fuck out. That they're so openly associated to politics, right? Why? I mean, even this dude, I love Bono. Bono is a god, okay? But that photo gives me the fucking, ooh, I don't like it. Why? Because it implies ulterior motives, even with good intentions. It implies ulterior motives. And if we reflect on number 2, never let them know your next move, the notion of expressing ulterior motives or being open about it it totally goes against the 10 crack commandments, right? So, and what it implies in addition is that conceivably that you're an informer. That you have to be, this is what this is drawn from, that lyric from Big is the police in his neighborhood are the ones, the ones that are there to, yes, serve and protect. But if you're in the business of selling crack, like you don't want the police are the gatekeepers, okay? But gatekeepers exist in all sorts of businesses, okay? And they can't necessarily lock you up, but they could affect your course of transacting, getting your business done. And gatekeepers, they do this thing, they label you. Right? They're going to call you, they're going to try to organize you like a product on a shelf, like a Campbell soup can. Jew, black, Muslim, rich, poor, gay, stupid, whatever, right? And this is kind of really what is the core to my book. When you refuse to be labeled, suddenly you play by your own rules, not theirs. Instead of complying or fitting in with the gatekeeper standards, you need to work on creating your own. Right? Be your own gatekeeper. Don't run the outside play, okay? Avoid politics. Avoid fucking with getting caught by the trappings of the gatekeeper. Make sense?
A strong word called consignment. For live men.
Not for freshmen. If you ain't got the clientele, say hell no. This is an important one. Take it from me. A strong word called consignment. Strictly for live men, not for freshmen. If you ain't got the clientele, say hell no, because they're gonna want their money, rain, sleet, hail, snow. Okay? John Paul Getty said, if you owe the bank $100, that's your problem. If you owe the bank $100 million, that's the bank's problem, right? That was some real last century thinking. Some real Donald Trump, some real Donald Trump jerk-off shit. Bullshit. Okay? It's fucking bullshit. Right? Careful who you take cash from. This is serious. This is serious business, man. It is not for freshmen. It is strictly for live men. Right? And in a culture that unfortunately got us to the chaos of 07, 08, this we finance anyone, these motherfuckers just fucked everything up. These TARP asshole motherfuckers, right? I'll have a drink to that. Seriously. Lending, rule 6, right? Rule 6, the other side of the coin, right? The other side of the coin is who you borrow from. Two sides to that, lend, borrow, okay? Very important notion in business. And not just taking money, he talks about consignment. So it could be a product, a service. Like, when it seems too good to be true, it's probably too good to be true. Inventory can kill your ass, all right? So be very, very careful, be very cautious, and know that they will come, rain, sleet, hail, snow. Seek partners, not lenders, okay? Understand that you're building an array of partnership, and not just necessarily from where you're getting your capital from, but how you distribute the risk on your team. Don't be an equity hoarder, okay? Spread the love, right? Distribute the risk so that you could get rational thought around the decisions that you will make. So that is my interpretation, Dr. Ecko's interpretation of the 10 Crack Commandments. And let's recap it, if we will, just really quickly. Never let them know how much dough you hold, number one. Never let them know your next move. Never trust nobody. It kind of sounds cynical, but, you know, again, deductive reasoning here. Never get high on your own supply. Never sell no crack where you rest at. That goddamn credit, debt it. Okay, careful how you lend. Keep your family and business completely separated. We don't want the shit show. Never keep no weight on you. Don't micromanage, okay? No fake-ass Steve Jobs. And if you ain't getting bagged, stay the fuck from the police. Like, unless you're getting locked up, avoid politics. Avoid expressing ulterior motives, being explicit about it. It's gross. And if you ain't got the clientele, say hell no, right? Careful where you borrow from. Anyways, thank you. So, you can pre-order my book. Thank you so much, guys. I don't know, we've got only a couple minutes.
Yeah.
If you guys want to do Q&A, we could do that.
Mark, are you game to do a few questions?
Yes, please.
Great. Hey, if you guys have questions, come up to the microphone, one right here, and we have one over there as well. Mark, I'll start off the questions right over here. Early in your career, over to your left.
Hey, I see you.
What's going on, man? Early in your career, I'm curious, which one of these, or I guess plural, did you get wrong?
I'm sorry?
Early in your career, which one of these commandments did you get wrong and learn from?
Shit. Which one didn't I get wrong? You know, yeah, man. Look at that graphic. That's a fucking t-shirt. I'm guilty of being indulged in hubris. I built my business kind of the old-fashioned way by borrowing money. So a fashion and apparel business, it's rare that you see traditional institutional investors that are typical of investing in high-growth technology startups, venture investors, fussing around in fashion. You typically don't see institutional money until private equity comes later. And I always thought, you know, 50-50. Everything was always 50-50. Hold on to it. So it was me and my partner, and actually my twin sister, was the three of us. 50-50-50, right? That makes sense. So I went through, you know, I was nepotistic. I got them all wrong. All right, that's why I feel like I could sit here and talk about this and feel confident that there's real pearls of wisdom in that record. And, you know, big up Christopher Wallace, rest in peace, man. You know, Biggie Smalls. And there's a lot of amazing things that can be gleaned from unsuspecting sources of knowledge. And he's one of the greats.
Professor Ecko, talking about lessons from hip-hop, I was wondering if you had any other tidbits you could share with us?
Lessons from hip-hop?
That apply into the business world?
Oh my gosh, man, there's so much wealth in I think what to glean from it is we over-intellectualize and get overly professorial. That was what I was doing here, taking the piss a little bit. The hustle. And there's something, like, the most magical thing about hip hop to me was that beyond obviously the social justice component and the sonic and aesthetic, facets of hip hop, I think it created a kind of an entrepreneurial virus, if you will. It was also a means to being industrious. It was giving, being able to take something that had no value and making it valuable. And there's a lot of folksy, plain common sense logic that could be deduced from anything that is kind of folksy and from real people. And I think that unfortunately what we do in the conversations of entrepreneurship, we want to over intellectualize it and organize it in a way that's far more fussy than it needs to be.
Thank you.
Marc, you've achieved a lot of things. What still gets you excited? What motivates you?
I think, funny enough, I take the piss out of the whole, college dropout thing, but, I kind of feel like really excited about being able to share what I know. I mean, that sounds really, kind of corny, and I have in kind of my old age gotten to be more philosophical, and I think the thing that that gives me tremendous sense of wealth creation is what I've experienced, and it's a wealth that I think matters, right? And I think I reference this frequently about the notion of creating wealth that matters, and I think that kind of getting to a place where you could kind of really be self-reflective and honest and happy with what you have is really special, and to know that the most valuable thing that I have, other than obviously my family, is I think the experiences and the knowledge, and I think that excites me, that I could actually take these failures and these lessons that are a necessary part of learning and growing and apply them and help other young entrepreneurs and the businesses I'm still a party to. Complex media being something that's quite it keeps me quite busy these days.
Cool. Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Hey, hey, Professor Ecko, I guess. Dr. Ecko, sorry, excuse me. So one of the things I realized after this talk and after kind of Ben's talk yesterday is there's always these lessons learned, right? You got the power of hindsight behind you, and you're like, oh, I shouldn't have fucking did that, right? Like, what can you learn moving forward from these talks besides just drinking the Kool-Aid, beyond just listening to them and saying, hey, yeah, it's probably not a good idea, to prevent you from making those types of mistakes again? Because I've noticed myself
what can
thinking,
you learn, you're saying?
What can we learn just from listening to you versus just experience?
By doing. Right?
Right.
So you don't go to school, school comes to you.
Right. That's kind of my question.
And the learning happens passively when you're actually applying yourself. And all you could glean from this, theater, right, is maybe some how-to kind of advisory kind of best practices. Mm-hmm. And I think the point of using, Big's record is that these things are universal themes that have been around since the beginning of time and the beginning of people transacting with one another in marketplaces, mm-hmm. right? So there's nothing that exotic about it. You knew this shit fundamentally the first time you operated a lemonade stand, okay? Right, so it's not a question of, what you could explicitly take that's gonna keep you from falling into a hole tomorrow. I think it's more about knowing that there will be a hole tomorrow. And you might have to fall into it, and that's okay. And just keep learning by doing. That's the best I think I could answer that, I think.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Dr. Marc Ecko.